Hello? Oh, wait. Hello. Yep. As the title says, that suggests the waiting room has now opened. So, as you know, I wasn't here yesterday, but for obvious reasons. But yeah, I'm taking a break now, so I'm gonna figure I might as well stream. I'm pretty sure it goes without saying, but it's not gonna be as long as usual. Maybe like 1:45, hour 45, maybe 1 hour 30, but we'll see. We'll see. Please, my lord, if I may. I remember we stopped mid. God, this is when last time we played when Thing came out, so I stopped literally on almost on the dot of midnight. So I stopped mid sentence, but we were doing a summation examination. Please, my lord, if I may. Mr. Sato, it was not the defense's intention to submit the skin prints as formal evidence. We merely wish to present the result of a great investigation of the scene as a tool by which the explanation to explain a possibility to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Exactly. Nope, we're not saying it's evidence. Yes, nice. And if the trial were to come to an end now, we should never learn the truth behind these mysterious handprints that everyone has now seen. I don't believe we can allow that to happen, and I'm sure the jurors would agree. Nice. Saves. You're right. Whether those strange handprints are a significant clue or not, it's down to us to decide. Juror number 3? Yeah, yes, I do declare the great detective's investigation results sound absolutely fascinating, and I want to hear what that shady actor fellow has to say about those shady handprints. What's the matter with you two? That was foolhardy. Well, I did say it, didn't I? And I don't like to break a promise. No, wait. You heard his lordship? It's not fair dink of evidence. So back to neutral. Well, not neutral. Or I guess it is neutral. 3-3. Oh, well done, Mr. Naruhodo. It's just one more juror changes his or her mind. Mr. Natsume's trial will have to continue. Thank you, Susato. But I couldn't have done it without you. Oh no, it was you who identified the clue after all. This is very much your success. Uh-oh, he's sweating. Oh, why? Mr. Shakespeare, you seem to be losing your composure. Just one more juror, Mr. Naruhodo. You can do it. Ikuzo. Very well. Continue, counsel. So we gotta convince more people. I'm a man of logic B, and having consulted evidence and much logically be guilty. Okay. Okay.
Hold it!
Can we please refrain from all this stock of gas? Did I press over for it? There's an all-out attack on the way here, in case you had to notice, in case my company's gas. I'm not supposed to sit here and take it. Wait, did I listen to this? Oh yeah, she's talking about exploding. Yeah, I see. Hold on, let's get her. I think I had to do that guy. Huh? I had no idea. It's almost unbelievable. It might seem unbelievable to you, but it's happening all the time, right here in the capital. It's very difficult to... Oh, wait, this is new dialogue. It's very difficult selling something you can't see because I can't fast forward it. Thank you. That will do. Clearly, this is a very involved subject, but I feel we have digressed rather too much already. I concur. Though I've had Merlin for wishes to become an expert in gas, I believe the subject will suit him well. To your new career in nothingness. Thank you so much. You will turn your attention to the next juror's assertion, please, counsel. Truth be told.
Hold it!
You mean it's poison? That's right. It happened a tidy few times now. This is most troubling indeed. It's always days like this one when I don't get any wages. I get in at tea time, see? And I see her doing it, my wife. She gets that devil's look on her face, and she slips some white powder into my cup. That's sugar, man. And you drink it anyway? I was brought up proper. I was. If someone gives you a cuppa, you drink it. And what happened to you? What did it taste like? It was god awful. Believe you me, salty as hell. Oh, so I think that's just your wife confusing sugar for tea, man, or sugar for salt. Then I think perhaps what your wife put in your tea was salt. No. So she doesn't even care enough to poison me properly? Unbelievable. Let's move on, please.
Hold it!
All the evidence you say? That's right. And there's no room for doubt. It's all pointed at the Japanese man with the big mustache, says the Englishman with the bigger mustache. But the defense just demonstrated another possible explanation for the events on the night in question. What do you make of that? What? Your so-called skin prints? It's an exciting new forensic investigation technique developed by the great detective himself. The numerous handprints on the wall are clearly out of the ordinary. And if Mr. Shamster had indeed put his mouth to the gas pipe in the night in question, it can't be denied that the possibility that's where the poison was. Well, yes, I won't deny that it's playing on my mind. But as the prosecution rightly says, we should pay no heed to unacceptable forms of evidence. And besides, yes, even if the fellow has been up to some mischief with the gas pipe dozens of times before, it doesn't mean he's got up to the same shenanigans on the night in question, does it? Oh. If you can't make your case better than that, I'm afraid I can't change my stance. You do make a very valid point, sir. What? That's true. Perhaps I was a little hasty. No, wait. So, you got your chance here, haven't you? So it's time to prove your theory. If you and your Japanese cohorts can, that is. Just leave our nationality out of this, please. Mr. Naruhodo, we can't substantiate our position. I'm afraid the jurors that changed their minds before may very well change them back. What can I do? Is there any more proof I can give here? Can I show that Mr. Stanley really did blow gas pipe the night in question? Oh, well, we have a supporting testimony. Wait, where did I... I'm pretty sure I have a testimony because Mr. Garrett said that the lights went out. No, in truth, I don't have evidence to support my theory. However, there is witness testimony that substantiates it. What's that? Testimony? This is incredible. Whose testimony? Yes, it is all connected. Even everything is linked. The person whose testimony revealed details about the gas in the namely, it's him. Well, that's just in case. Just in case. It's him. He said.
Take that!
Well, Mr. Foreman. Oh, that wasn't right. That wasn't right. Whose testimony? Maybe his? Yeah, I guess him. Yeah, he said that the thing went out. Obviously, I'm talking about the defendant, Mr. Soseki Natsume himself. The defendant? At the very beginning of the proceedings here in court yesterday, Mr. Natsume said the following. Yeah, he said that his stove went out. My lodgings, there's been a whole series of strange happenings in my lodgings. Even on the fatal night happened. When I returned from Mr. Sam's room, I lit my gas stove and climbed into bed. But before long, the stove went out. And somebody tried to kill me. On the night in question, the gas in the defendant's room went out. So I asked the court, was that a mere coincidence or not? Good golly. So that Shamsby fellow blew air into the gas pipe to make the man's stove go out on purpose? Now hold your horses there. What would he do? What would he do that for? Mr. Foreman, what is it, man? We cannot allow judgment to be passed while this doubt remains. It's true that I don't have the conclusive evidence yet. However, you must surely agree that there's more to this case than meets the eye. Ah. You got me. Oh, bollocks. You got me. Fair enough. Like I said at the outset, I'm a man of logic, first and foremost. There we go. There we have it. That's 4 jurors leaning towards not guilty, my lord. We've overturned the decision. Therefore, the defense calls for the trial to continue. As the defense has rightfully indicated, the summation examination has concluded with the majority of jurors altering their decisions. 2 jury members now called guilty, 4 now called not guilty. Therefore, the jury's opinion is conflicted, and in accordance with the law of this land, I hereby order the continuation of this trial. William Shamspeare. My lord, how can thy humble Shamspeare serve thee? What say you in response to the various revelations made during the summation examination? So God bend me, I do solemnly swear, I recall aught of either the lamp or the pipe. But your handprints have made a tidy mess all over the wall there. How do you explain that, eh? I am done with this. The dignity of this great courtroom has been sullied enough already. Juror number 5. Juror number 5. Who, me? As I went to some pains to point out already, a print from the self-possessed detective's toy has no place in a British court of law. As such, whether or not this man did indeed stand before the gas lamp with his hand against the wall remains at this time unestablished conjecture. You will all do well to remember that.
Objection.
But the prosecution must concede that it would be extremely simple to verify. Or if there's a traces of poison there.
Objection.
What appears to be extremely simple is my Nipponese friend's mind. You will recall that in order to check for the presence of a poison in the tea, some remnants of tea were required. Yes. Therefore, it shouldn't be beyond your wit to imagine that even if poison were to be spread on the pipe, it would have completely evaporated by now, making any analysis impossible. I didn't think of that. In any case, counsel, I fail to see what could possibly have motivated the man to do as you described. Why on earth would this fellow have wanted to blow air into the gas pipe where he lived? There's only one possibility that I can think of. And that is to use leaking gas to commit murder. Yeah, he wanted to get into Thing's room, the Sticky's room. Order! Counsel, precisely whose life do you propose this man was planning to end? The answer couldn't be simpler. Now we've unraveled the mystery this far. Mr. Shamspeare wanted to end the life of, it's obvious, him.
Take that!
If a gas lamp were to go out, it would be noticed immediately, of course, but not while you're sleeping. But a gas stove, on the other hand, could be silently extinguished by the killer without anyone noticing. I live around those parts myself, so I know what it's like. I can tell you, trying to sleep without the stove lit is pretty much suicide. You'd freeze to death in no time. Mr. Garrett, the landlord, has a large fireplace in his part of the residence on the top floor. In other words, it wasn't the landlord, but a fellow lodger whose life Mr. Shamspeare was trying to end. Outrageous! Second year, you see the 2 on this thing. I'm talking, of course, about the defendant. Mr. Natsume isn't the villain in this case. It's the victim. He's the victim this man was trying to murder. Good gracious.
Objection.
You got some proof? The accused is actually the aggrieved. Interesting. However, the fundamental facts of the case remain unchanged. Namely, that the accused is the aggressor here. What? How can you still claim that? Let us indulge your fancies for a moment and assume that there was indeed poison on the mouth of the gas pipe. The question is then that rises is who put it there? Who did put it there? The only logical conclusion is that the person responsible was aware of this man's trickery with the gas supply and his intent to kill. But then that can't be him, because why would he sleep with the Slovan? Yes, and that would indeed seem logical. If the assailant were unaware, how would he or she have known to lace the end of the gas pipe with poison? So now we must ask, how could anyone have known that Mr. Sansevere murderous designs? Ah, you mean to suggest? Naturally, the sole possible answer to that question couldn't be more obvious. Only the man whose life was being threatened could possibly have known. What? In other words, the person who put the poison in the gas pipe in what was a clear retaliatory attack can only have been the accused, Mr. Soseki Natsume. Ah. Whatever Mr. Williams Chancellor may or may not have contrived to do, he was nevertheless the victim of a potentially lethal poison attack. And the only person who could have possibly have perpetrated that attack is the accused, Mr. Natsume. Gas times 5 or 6, I mean. The defense counsel's theorizing has failed to avert suspicion from the accused. Far from it. In fact, now that a clear motive for the poisoning has been successfully established, that suspicion is greater than ever. Would you not agree, my Nipponese friend? Uh-oh. But no, we gotta see it. We gotta see through to the end. Wait. How did he manage to turn that around on me so rapidly? Mr. Naruhodo, you must respond. Otherwise, the members of the jury may very well change their leanings against us again. Yeah, you can't let us sit on the... And this may be our last chance to gain the advantage. Get up, man. What advantage? Well, it would seem that somebody put poison on the gas pipe in Mr. Sansevere's room, so you must name the person now and absolve Mr. Natsume of guilt. You mean, name the true culprit? I know it might sound impossible, but if we fail to do that, I have no doubt that Mr. Natsume's fate will be sealed, once and for all. Okay, as it happens, one possible culprit does come to mind. The evidence, the poison. Oh! Was it really her? That the prosecutors calls for the jury to consider their leanings again. I trust you'll make the correct choice this time, Mr. Foreman. Huh? What? Oh, don't you worry. We know exactly. There is one other person who I believe could have been involved in all of this. The true culprit of this crime. The true culprit? Well, we saw a poison one other time. A term found only in second-rate novels featuring third-rate great detectives, my Nipponese friend. But why not? Why not? This farce has gone on for so long already, I see no reason to cut it short before its disappointing climax. Thank you. You'll live to regret that. Tell us, my learned Nipponese friend. What is your latest theory? Who is the so-called true culprit of this crime? I'm gonna save. This would be crazy, but my mind is like, we only saw one other person have poison on them. And it was this person. I think it was her.
Take that!
Responsible for the poisons is, I believe, Miss Olive Green. Miss Olive Green? Miss Olive Green? I do feel as though I've heard that name in the recent past, Counsel, but I don't recall where. Miss Olive Green? The woman from 6 days ago. Sorry, I realized where I changed where this direction that sentence was going. this victim in the recent case of stabbing on Briar Road? An incident for which Mr. Natsume was arrested, I hasten to add. Oh, of course, yes, Miss Green. She was left comatose for 3 days, I believe, but I hear she regained consciousness 2 days ago. And I hardly need to remind the court that Mr. Sandspear poisoning took place 3 days ago. Given that the woman was lying comatose on the hospital bed at the time, she appears to have a rather fine alibi. True, on the night that incident occurred, Miss Green was in hospital unconscious, so on the face of it, it would seem that she couldn't possibly be responsible. But still, my colleagues and I visited Miss Green in hospital yesterday, and we found her to be in possession of a bottle of poison. Good gracious, she had poison. And there is another fact that links Miss Green to this case as well. The defense requests that she be brought to the witness stand in order to explain the details to the court. Tell me, Mr. Sandspear. My lord, pray, what be thy bidding? Are you acquainted with Miss Green? Eh? No, never heard of her. Judging by the look on Mr. Sandspear's face, he's obviously lying. I think perhaps he genuinely doesn't know her. At least, not by name. As the voice of Her Majesty's prosecution here, I adhere to my word. We will see my learned Nippon friends farce through to its conclusion. I appreciate that. The prosecution requests a short recess, my lord, in order to subpoena the witness and bring her here. Yes, Miss Olive Green. Indeed, my lord. 1 hour should be sufficient. Very well, I grant the request. Not excellent, I hope. The defense has made a most extraordinary accusation, I must say, but at the present time, I feel the prosecution's argument remains largely uncontested. Accordingly, I'm afraid the defendant and his culpability remains still subject to the court's attention. Thank you, counsels. We reconvene in 1 hour. Court is adjourned. It had to be her. She got a letter from him. We saw the half of it in his room. Or well, I guess he sent her. She sent him a letter. Oh wait, where did that go? Oh, yeah, I bet. Hold on. Joyful, jubilant, jumping jacks. Mr. Natsume, I'm so pleased for you. Locum student Mr. Naruhodo Esquire and non-locum judicial assistant Miss Mikotoba Esquires. Now, finally, at long last, there can be proof. Proof that I'm innocent and proof that my tea is innocent. Ah, good morning, my dear fellow. Dude, you missed like everything, bro. Ah, good morning, my dear fellows. Ah, here, Herlock Sholmes. May you drink my tepid tea and fall forever silent. I thought the tea was innocent. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, you came. How wonderful. Please, save your derision. Please save your derision. I know what you're all thinking. Good morning, he says. Why, it's very nearly time for luncheon. Your scorn is written clearly across your faces. Nobody said or thought anything of the sort. Well, maybe I think I kind of did a little. The truth is, I was determined that today would be the day. As sleep seduced me last night, I thought, tomorrow, for once, I shall not oversleep. I'll rise early, then be present in court to support my companions. Such spirited determination has a beauty all of its own, does it not? Oh yes. And then I began to muse on the subject. Why do people oversleep? I queried. Why, time after time, do they make the same foolish blunder? And the answer came to me at once. It's so delightfully simple. People oversleep because they sleep. Well, is that not an astute thought and insight into the matter? Oh, yes. Upon which realization, I attended an experiment. I didn't sleep a wink last night. Macy did sleep a wink all night. And the results, my first night, I was exhausted. I began to be assailed by you idiot. Oh, this guy is stupid. It's shocking. Yeah, whoa. Really, you don't say. That's strange. Not shocking. And so, the conclusion of last night's experiment is this. A good night's sleep is quite simply essential. Yes, I think most of us probably do that already. What others presuppose, I prove by experimentation. That, my dear fellows, is a scientific method. Ah, yes, and one more thing. Do you remember this? Ah. Yes, of course. It's the poison that Miss Green was about to drink at the hospital yesterday. Oh, you didn't manage to. There was a laborious task as the bottle was near empty, but such inconveniences did not hinder Soames. I managed to confirm that it contains starch in it. Ah, there we go. Wait, hold on. I gotta. This is how you say that. Right. If it's because I'm pretty sure it's real. Nope, that's not. I don't have it. Well, strychnine. Okay.
Strychnine.
Strychnine?
Strychnine.
Strychnine. Okay, strychnine. Okay, yeah, I guess it is strychnine. Strychnine. Hold on, one more time for the record.
Strychnine.
Strychnine. Okay, strychnine. It contains strychnine. So I was right. Perhaps, though of course, such circumstantial evidence doesn't prove Miss Green's guilt. I should leave the bottle in your care now. But looking at the inside of the neck is not recommended. The bottle of poison has been entered into the court. Yeah. Ah, could I have a word? Uh-oh. Gregson. Oh, my dear friend. Gregson, how goes it? Good of you to come. Forget it. Excuse me. Yeah, nope, never mind. Like, you know what? Never mind. Forget it. Excuse me. Wait a minute. Inspector. What? I don't wish to make a nuisance of myself. From the look on your face, I say it's something else that you think is making a nuisance of himself. My dear Inspector, please speak freely. Pretend that I'm not here. Believe me, if I could do that, my life would be a whole lot simpler for me. Holy, he hates him. Do you have the results, Inspector, of the investigation of Mr. Shakespeare's room? Nah, not yet. Shouldn't be long now, though. No, I'm here about something else. That dead convict, actually. Oh, you mean the man from this newspaper article we discovered yesterday in Mr. Shakespeare's room? A man by the name of, yes, Selden. I went through the archives of the yard and dug out the fellow's file. There's something in there that, well, it caught my eye. Something caught your eye? What, Inspector? What? I've copied out the relevant parts for you, so you can read it for yourself. Thank you. Hold on, I'm gonna want to take a look at that. Wait. These documents. Hold on, Susato. 18 counts of burglary, 6 counts of suspected murder, died of natural causes, wells and poison in prison. His final one was witnessed only by his cellmate. It's estimated 1,000. Oh, okay. I'm gonna get. It's, you know, he's not Selden, but the guy we were. Remember, they said that he had a history with the police. That the Mr. Shakespeare had a few run-ins with the police. So my guess is he was the cellmate of this guy, and the guy must have told him where he hid his money. That's made $1,000 worth of loot. Manchester cell, bringing to his prison after death with committed murder and burglary started by natural causes. He had been suffering with a fever since the end of October. Also alerted by fellow cellmate, medical staff arrived to find him dead before his capital punishment could be carried out. Okay, that's not what I wanted to say, but these documents, include the details that were in the newspaper cutting we found in Mr. Shakespeare's room. I'll rearrange everything in the court record so we don't have to duplicate information. Oh, so basically now we lost that newspaper clipping. Yeah, we lost that clipping because we already have. It's basically saying the same thing. Why are you giving us a copy of this important file, though? Well, you're the ones who turned up the clue in the first place, aren't you? And just making sure things get handled in the proper order, fashion, the same thing. Oh, Scotland Yard's working. You're so wonderful. Indeed, my dear fellows, and the expected here is a shining diamond in its crown. A shining diamond in the rough baby. Look, I just don't want to be beholden to a lawyer. That's all. No, I'm still told to you after what happened in the last game, man. Counsel for defense and the defendant. You're about to let some a 17-year-old girl eat capital offense for your job. That's lame. Court proceedings are about to resume. Make your way into the courtroom at once. Well, I shall leave you then. I'll be listening with the intercessor from the public gallery. Not nodding off at all. Certainly not. Thank you, Mr. Souls. His ass is gonna fall asleep immediately. I'm rather tired of seeing Mr. Smith after the flood of tears, personally. So, the best of luck to you. Welcome to the Mr. Narrow Esquire. Yes, Mr. Natsume? It's time, isn't it? Yes, this is it. Mr. Olive Green and Mr. William Shakespeare. This is going to be the final battle. I won't really have faced a second time until I've exposed the whole truth of everything that's been going on. But it's all coming to a head now. You can do it, Ryunosuke. You have to. Lock in, bro. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session again now. Before the recess, we heard a most startling accusation from the defense. Namely, that the victim of the case we heard here only a few days ago is a true perpetrator of this incident. A reckless, rash, and prejudiced charge of wrongdoing, in my opinion, my lord. However, the prosecution has tried to extend every courtesy to this amateur newcomer from dubious eastern shores. Thank you for that backhanded consideration. Hold on. 1 second. Wait, I might have to. Yeah, really not. Well, there. You know what? It's fine. Never mind. It's fine. It's fine. If I see it, not that big a deal. Look at that. Okay. For that backhanded consideration. A rather cold assessment from the honorable British prosecutor, I must say. So, Lord Van Zeeks, is the new witness present and ready to take the stand? Ready and waiting in the witness's antechamber, my lord. Very well, bailiff. Bring the witnesses in. Witnesses? I guess it must be the both of them. Witnesses, state your names and occupation for the court, please. That's for the record. William Shakespeare, my liege. For mine occupation, I can say only that I be a tragic victim to be pitied. Currently unemployed, in other words. I'm Olive Green. I'm a fledgling artist. Well, no. Not a fledgling, really. A hopeless failure who's too weak-spirited to admit she has no talent, I suppose. Also currently unemployed. In other words. What a pottery? Okay, hold on. I gotta switch up that word too. Cautery.
Coterie.
Coterie, okay, coterie. Okay, coterie. Hold on, I still have the strychnine.
Strychnine.
Strychnine, yes, the strychnine. Coterie. Strychnine, coterie. Strychnine. What a coterie. Mr. Sandspear, my lord, I am thy humble servant. I'm afraid that you are no longer merely the victim in this affair. The possibility has been raised that you are in fact the assailant, intent on taking the life of your fellow lodger. The part of you have played in this whole business will be thoroughly scrutinized, I assure you. I would for naught else, my lord. And Miss Green, yes? You are aware of the reason you have been summoned to this courtroom today, I presume? Yes, the officer did explain. He said I poisoned this ridiculous buffoon. And? Do you accept the charge, Miss Green? Of course not. I don't know anything about any poisoning. And I don't know anything about this man. Come, lady? Die to live. Verily, I know not thy prickly, pea-pigmented personage. Very well. Let us proceed with the matter at hand. That being, to ascertain whether or not Miss Green has any involvement in this affair. If it's all very strange. It's all very strange. Very strange indeed. Why would you suspect me? I barely even ever go to the East End anyway. It so happens that I passed by the neighborhood 6 days ago. That's all. And on the night that this man was poisoned, I was still in the hospital fighting for my life. Yes, I haven't been unfortunately caught up in the incident on the street inside the Garadeb household. An incident that rendered you unconscious for some 3 days. I was struck in the middle of my back by a knife, through no fault of my own, and now I'm under suspicion? What other irrelevant things might I be suspected of? It's all very disturbing. Your energies may be better spent worrying about random knife attacks, I feel, Miss Green. At this point in time, all that appears to connect you with Mr. Sandspear lodging is the Briar Road incident of 6 days ago. That's why we would like you to testify formally now about exactly what happened. Oh no, the incident 6 days ago? You mean you want me to relive that awful incident? Unfortunately, yes. Please tell us the court what happened that day. And of course, we'll be really interested to hear from you about your movements that day too, Mr. Sandspear. Okay, but what happened 6 days ago has nothing to do with me being poisoned. Let us proceed then. The witnesses will present their formal testimony to the court on the subject of the incident that took place on Briar Road on the evening of the 17th of February. The evening of the 17th of February. It was 6 days ago. At about 5 p.m., I was walking along the snow when I was suddenly stabbed in the back. Coincidentally, it happened to be just outside the house where this men has, in this case, have their lodgings. I was at the tavern on the eve of which I'll speak, where I had bespoke my supper. It was the first time I'd been in the area. I had a little matter to attend to, that's all. Anyway, I was admitted straight to the hospital, so I knew nothing about all this business. So it's the first thing she said, and then the thing about her never being into the area before. We know that's not true. Yes, a second incident inside a week, as what I believe to be aptly described as the haunted lodgings. One can only presume that this is the most unfortunate coincidence. Meanwhile, you say you were not in your room, Mr. Sandspear? It was the following morning when I did awaken that I learned of the dire events. Mary, what a commotion did the officers of law make on the floor above mine. I just think his son was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder. As suspected, there is nothing connecting these two witnesses but happenstance. It's true, it does seem as though they're unrelated at first glance, but I'm not so sure. There's something lurking in the shadows here. Yeah, what do you forget? We saw them talking to each other. They're literally talking to each other. This is my one and only chance to expose it. Counsel, you may now cross-examine these two witnesses if you wish. Yes, my lord. Sixty feet I've been walking along the snow when I first studied stand in the back. Okay, well, we'll do this second one.
Hold it!
Is that's not true? What? Little matter, Miss Green. Please elaborate. It has nothing to really. It's not worth mentioning. If you remember, you mentioned it to us yesterday at the hospital. Ah, it was related to the card you were holding. This green. Ah. What was that? She thought you just hit something behind her back. From my memory, I believe the card contained a note that read, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. What does that matter? This has nothing to do with Duncan. Hold on.
Excuse me.
Hold on. You got something to say about that? Mr. Shakespeare, do you have something to share with the court? To be or not to be? That is the question. Whether it is nobler, pray, forgive me. The great bard's words springeth from within me with nearer thought. Don't tell me it's because you're possessed by the spectral spirit, right? Hearing Miss Green's word a moment ago seemed to make you think of something. Something of relevance, perhaps? Well, nay, sire. 'Twas nothing at all. Presumably, you know the name, though. Mr. Duncan Ross, I mean. After all, you were both lodgers in the same house. I would it were so, but sadly, nay. Lodging be a lonely occupation, sire. My lodging fellow be rarely known to me. So you haven't been heard of him, even though he passed away in the room just one floor above yours? Miss Green? Me, my lord? Have I done something wrong? The card that was mentioned before, containing the note, do you have it upon your person? I do, yes, but I don't need it anymore. In fact, I should throw it away, really. Before you dispose of it, the court will take it as evidence, please. Of course, that's what links Mr. Shakespeare and Miss Green, is Duncan Ross. Now, continue with your testimony, please, Miss Green. So now we have the thing that connects them. We found this. We have the piece of the letter, the open letter, in his room. So that must have been him giving it back. This is part 3, right? Wait, hold on. I think no. I think this is the letter says meet me at the tavern. The envelope has been ripped open rather carelessly, hasn't it? This green strikes me the type to open the correspondence more neatly than that. Hey, what is it? The way the envelope is torn, I'm almost sure I've seen that exact shape somewhere else. Oh, you don't mean we were talking of this piece of evidence, Mr. Naruto? Exactly, that's it. Try to match them up. Yeah, perfect. They go together perfectly. This torn up envelope clearly belongs with this card. Yeah, so Miss Green's card. Okay, I'm more thinking about what's the. I guess it's not a thing. So we had a tavern, you say? Which one? Was the slug and salad where I did tarry. This is jewel in the East End. And a little unexpected, I feel. What do you mean, Lord Van Zeeks? The slug and salad offers unusually fine dining, for the locality at least. Not an establishment he said to be patronized by a man with not even a crumb of bread in his room. It's true. The menu lists premium crusts of bread and glasses of water in different levels of cloudiness. I would have expected grubs and grubbery in the local vicinity to be more appropriate for your means. Watery soup and mushy peas, or rather, soupy water and pea-like mush. All equally appetizing. Yeah. I had mushy peas once. That is not good. It's not good. Holy. It looks foul and tastes not that bad, but it's not good. Yeah, when I saw it and like, oh, this is. And before you ask this, I got it from like a fish and shit place, so I guess it was kind of legit. I just wanted to try some water in a different pub for once. That's what's wrong with that. How different can water really be? Or perhaps there's a more plausible explanation. A specific reason why he had to go to that particular establishment. Oh, the fact that on the day of all days he dined at the place he wouldn't normally. It does stand out. So Mr. Samster's own actions on the day of the 6 days were slightly suspicious. I wonder if we have some evidence that can explain those actions. We do. It didn't say. Hold on, I'm gonna say. We do, but we did. Hold on, let me see. Can we examine it again? Can we get envelope that contained the note to Miss Green and fit together perfectly? Yes, there's no question they're from the same letter, but that means something doesn't quite add up here, does it? Okay. No, so we got another new piece. So, Mr. Shakespeare? Yes, sire? On the day in question, is it not the case that you visited the Slug and Salad, a place you don't normally patronize, for a very particular reason? I don't know what you're talking about. Pray, if thou hast some purpose, speak. Very well then. Hold on. Sorry. Very well. I will present evidence. Present the court with evidence. Evidence that explains why you had to be at the Slug and Salad that day. Namely.
Take that!
No. Okay. I believe this card reveals the answer. Good lord. Miss Green's card, you mean? That's right, my lord. It reads, I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on 17th. Which is on the 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It's a matter of utmost importance. Mr. Shakespeare, your actions on the afternoon of Miss Green's stabbing are exactly as described in this note. Ah. For personally, I find it hard to believe that's a coincidence. Don't you, Mr. Shakespeare? Shakespeare? I guess Shakespeare. Well, excuse me. Can I say something? Yes, Miss Green. That card was delivered to me. It doesn't have anything to do with this odd man, does it? Well, you think so, yes, but it's hard to believe it's merely. My lord, may I? May you what, Miss Green? I'd like to make something very clear about that card. Very well then. You may amend your testimony to include the details about the peculiar note. If you're gonna say you got to you know that's not true. This note was delivered to me at my address. It's nothing to do with the odd man. Well, no, we know that's not true.
Objection.
That's not true. The day before the incident, exactly 1 week ago now, this note was delivered to your address. Upon carrying out the instructions in the note, you find yourself in a hospital. Yes, I did. It's terrible, everything that's happened to me. Yes, it is terrible. If it's all true, that is. What do you mean? Miss Green, have a look at this. Have a look at this, please. It's a torn off end of an envelope. Oh, is it? And it so happens that it fits together perfectly with the envelope of the note you received. Where did you find that? In Mr. Shakespeare's room. Eh? In my room? Mr. Shakespeare, do you perhaps remember this note from somewhere? Well, your actions that afternoon followed the instructions in the note to the letter. Come to the Slug and Salad on Briar Road at 5 p.m. on the 17th. And that's exactly where you went. Let me ask you again, Mr. Shakespeare. You already knew about this note, didn't you? And you, Miss Green. What did I do? As this torn off end of the envelope proves, the note was originally in Mr. Shakespeare's room. So how is it that it came to be in your possession? I don't have the first idea. I'm just a fledgling artist after all. There is only one explanation. You broke into Mr. Shakespeare's room and stole it. You did what? Sorry, thou hast what? Thou were in my room? What on earth do you want with me? It would seem that both witnesses need to testify again. Yeah, my guess is she knows that he killed her. He knows that he killed him. Or hold on, that's okay. Now I need to change what I was listening to. Hold on. But yeah, no, she knows that Mr. Shakespeare killed Duncan. He knows. Miss Green? Yes? Whilst you have the court's sympathy, I'm sure, for the suffering you have endured in recent events, anyone found to be giving false testimony in a court of law will be duly punished. Please bear that in mind. Yes, I know. Very well then, witnesses, you will give formal testimony again now on the subject of this curious anomaly regarding the note Miss Green claims to have received. The anomaly of the note. I do remember now. It was a week ago. Per adventure, that note was delivered unto me. On the day writ therein, I did tarry a long hour at the Slug and Salad, yet nobody came. Thereafter, on the evening I shared the company of this Japanese fellow, I did see the note had vanished. I don't know what you mean. You think I snuck into this man's room, do you? Why would I? I can point out the villain here, and as for that torn off piece of envelope, I don't know anything about it. You now claim to have received this letter, do you, Mr. Shakespeare? Faith, 'tis so, my lord, and I would swear to have set it upon the table of my humble lodgings. Yet, 'tis clear to me now that since I returned from the tavern that night, I have not laid eyes upon it. Well, believing that the case, young lady, it would appear that your testimony was a lie? Is that what you think? How unfair of you to think I'm the one lying. I beg your pardon? I'm just a fledgling artist, as I said, and fledgling artists don't lie. Oh yeah, ironclad defense. That note was delivered to me at my address. Besides, we all know who the liar around here is. If that's true, Miss Green, how do you explain the facts? This part of the envelope was, without question, found in Mr. Shanspeare's room. I don't see why I should explain. Well, that's not... Sorry? I'm a fledgling artist. My job here is to just say what happened, that's all. It's your job to give the explanation and the proofs. You, the fledgling lawyer. The fledgling will do his best. Evidently, my learned friends at cross-examination is our only hope of learning the truth. Well, counsel? I'm ready, my lord. Very well then. The defense will now proceed with the cross-examination of the witnesses. Miss Green clearly did break into Mr. Shanspeare's room. There can be no question of that. And that's how she acquired the note. Yes, two facts that are starting to lead me to a possible explanation for all of this. And it's not a pretty one. Oh. No, I'm gonna leave the note. I do remember now, it was a week ago. You mean you think I sleep in his room? Why would I?
Hold it!
It seems that this note was actually delivered to Mr. Shanspeare about 1 week ago. Oh, does it? But for some reason, it ended up in your possession. I can't think of any way that could have happened except for you breaking into Mr. Shanspeare's login.
Objection!
But for what reason would the witness have done that? I won't deny that Miss Green's possession of the note would appear to defy logic. However, until and unless her involvement in this case can be proven in some other way, any further pursuit of this note is meaningless. Miss Green could have only come into being in possession of the note by stealing it from Mr. Shanspeare's room. And yet, there's no obvious reason why she would have done such a thing. What if there was some other reason she broke into his lodges, though? Yes, we should pursue that idea. We're close now. I feel it. We're so close to a breakthrough.
Hold it!
So you don't want to tell the court the truth about the glitter? Is that it? I'm a fledgling artist, remember? Artists are nearly always introverted characters. Introverted? Fie! This fledgling doth readily cast aspersions about my nature. Yet I am an angel, a seraph. Birds do harmonize with my song, the wind doth frolic on my wing. Oh, pity, wherefore dost thou accuse one so pure of heart, ample woman? Pure of heart? I don't think so. Even a fledgling like me can see you're just a failure. Tragedy, thou shalt not know the true heart of an artist until thy instruction hereafter by death. Oh, the days, oh, the years, alas, to enlighten thee, thou must wait so long and in vain. Mr. Naruto, interject with some clever remark. This is your chance to shine. I'm no Shakespearean actor, Mr. Zato. No, as far as I can tell, the only thing that's going to resolve the argument is evidence. Yes. It's clear that Miss Green did in fact break into the room. Hold on, I gotta clean the sandwich here. I'm gonna like 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Sorry. Maybe have a nibble on a... Yep, this is, and that's where she found this letter. Yes, two more or less foregone conclusions that lead me to one terrifying conclusion. Terrifying? Yes, I'm afraid to say that the outcome of this cross-examination will well change how we look at this case completely. I do remember now. Yo, shh, nope, 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 nope. So is that last part. Okay, it's probably no, okay, it's not, it's some.
Hold it!
Hold on, let's do that. When exactly did you notice it had gone missing? Societal thoughts ne'er occupy my mind. I am bruised with greater ideas. In other words, you didn't notice. Several days passed between your outing at the tavern and Mr. Natsume's visit to your room. Yes, it would appear that the note disappeared sometime in that interval. Such idle thoughts never occupy my mind. I am busy with greater ideas. And yet, during that time, Miss Green was comatose in hospital, was she not? Oh, I see what it is. So the note. Wait. So what? Wait. So wait. He is. So what did she? I'm thinking that she sent him the note to meet her at the thing. And so and he went there, and so but why would she? That doesn't make any sense. Why would she send a note just so she should go and get it after? Clearly, then she could not have been stealing things from Mr. Shakespeare's room. Yes, of course. It's all some sort of misunderstanding, isn't it, Mr. Prosecutor, sir? You have so far failed to give a satisfactory explanation as to how you came by the note. I'm not here to advocate for your defense, madam. I won't tolerate inconsistencies in your story. You would do well to remember that. Oh dearie me. What's Lord Vansley's getting at? He's truth maxing. I don't know what you mean. Do you think I stuck in the room?
Hold it!
So even after waiting for an hour, nobody appeared. So he was out of his house for an hour. Well, yes, sire. His thou says. Really? You paused for a moment before you answered. In truth, when thou asked whether nobody appeared, I did suddenly recall. Wait, do you mean to tell the court that somebody did appear after all? I was not alone that night at the Slug and Salad, my lord. No, it is returning to me now. I did treat my lips to almost clear water, and mine innards to a premium crust of bread. And all around me danced the greater companions. What do you mean? Flies, sire, flies. Good lord. In the name of Beelzebub, what were they? Fairies, perchance, for the Midsummer's Night's Dream? Come to taunt me? I think they were just flies. I can't help thinking that the flies ought to choose something more wholesome to buzz around. Is that wrong of me?
Hold it!
And can you shed any light on the contents of the note at all? Nay, sire. Tis as strange to me as a foreign tongue, even with a knowledge of literature as great as mine own. Verily, 'tis impenetrable. But Mr. Duncan Ross had lodgings in the same household as you. I mean, in effect, He was your neighbor, so surely you knew him, didn't you? Alack, as the choices be twixt, I knew him, and I knew him not. Then 'twas with foreboding that I be forced to declare we were by some measure acquainted. Despite your claims, though, you followed the note's instruction and went to the Slugging Salad. Presumably that was nothing to do with your knowledge of literature. Mary, not we'll have the better of me, sire, save for the lure of curiosity. So 'tis true, I was compelled by my own eager heart to betake myself of the cavern. Yet in the end, my curiosity was not satiated. Okay, so I have a piece of evidence. Okay. It's not that. It's not the picture. It's gonna be, it's a death? I don't think so.
Objection.
No, it's not. No.
Objection.
No. Okay, so we have why would she sneak into the room? Oh, well, I guess it would be the contents of the note. No?
Objection.
No. I think it's this. Why would she sneak into the room?
Objection.
Okay, there it goes. It was just the poison. Yesterday at the hospital, we saw you with this bottle. And though the contents spilled. Oh, maybe when it didn't work, that's when she came. Well, and though the contents spilled during the course of our meeting, a small quantity remained. Ah, according to the defense's independent analysis, Mr. Sholmes' chemistry strength, the liquid that was still in the bottle was identified as strychnine. Strychnine. What? Strychnine? The very same poison that afflicted Mr. Shakespeare? Ah. Miss Green, you broke into this man's lodgings for one reason and one reason only alone. To cover the end of the pipe that feeds the gas lamp in Mr. Shakespeare's room with poison. Can this be? You broke into my room to... It may seem incredible to the court, but from the remaining clues, there's only one logical conclusion that we can reach. The person who attempted to take Mr. Shakespeare's life with poison was you, Miss Olive Green. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dearie. Me! Nope, he's dead. No, Hydra Bloomers. Order, order, order! Counsel, are you seriously suggesting this woman put poison on the end of the gas pipe with intent to kill? Yes, my lord. There's no other way to explain the facts. But if Miss Green did indeed set this odious trap 6 days ago, and the victim had put his mouth to the pipe that very evening as expected, the attempted murder would have happened 6 days ago, surely? Ah, well, that's a very good point. Perhaps not, my lord. I beg your pardon? There was a significant police presence in the area that evening on account of the incident on Briar Road. Local residents were being interviewed throughout the night as part of the ongoing inquiry. A circumspect criminal would likely have chosen not to carry out any wrongdoing at that time. Lord, fancy, he's giving us the assist. And of course, the following morning, there was more activity at Mr. Sanspear's address. More activity? Ah, yes. You mean his fellow lodger, Mr. Natsume, being arrested on the suspicion of murder? That's right. And as the defense has already proposed, Mr. Sanspear was meddling with the gas in the pipe for a very sinister reason himself, to cause the gas over Mr. Natsume's room to go out, thereby asphyxiating the occupant. But once Mr. Natsume had been arrested, his room was under a constant surveillance by the police. In the circumstances, Mr. Sanspear had no reason to blow air into the gas pipe. His intended victim being in a prison cell. With the need to tamper with the gas removed, the poison onto the pipe lay dormant. And then, 3 days ago now, the situation changed again. Right, Mr. Natsume's trial, to which took place here on the Old Bailey, came to an end. The trial in which the man stood accused of stabbing Miss Green in the back, but was duly acquitted. That resulted in Mr. Natsume returning to his lodgings for the first time in 2 days. And that very night, his gas stove mysteriously went out, and Mr. Sanspear was mysteriously poisoned. In conclusion, the poison that was present on the mouth of the gas pipe had been put there in the victim's room some 4 days earlier. Hold on, I'm gonna let the music swell. Okay. Mary! With that new understanding, it becomes very clear that this letter was all part of the plan. What plan? The court will recall that the note gave instructions to visit the Slug and Salad at 5 o'clock, and that recipient shouldn't tell nobody else the reason for those instructions. The recipient should tell nobody else. The reasons for those instructions are now clear. To ensure that the lodger would not be at home at the stated time. To make sure I wasn't home? Exactly. While you were out, Miss Green could safely slip into her room, knowing that she wouldn't be disturbed. You mean to say that letter was written by Miss Green? Yes. And in order to cover her tracks, she took it away with her when she left. But why wouldn't he take the letter just after she see her poison over the mouth of the gas pipe in your room? Order, order! What do you have to say for yourself, witness? Just who are you? Why did you try to kill me? Miss Green's motive should be obvious. It's all tied up with someone whose name we've heard several times already during this course of this trial. So, that's what's behind all this. You will share your apparent understanding with the court, please, counsel. Which person is behind this woman's motive for victim's life? Well, it's, I don't even have to say for this guy. It's him. Duncan Ross. That's right. Before the defendant, Mr. Natsume, took up residence at the lodgings at Mr. Garrett's, somebody else was renting the room. Mr. Duncan Ross. I knew I'd heard the name somewhere else. It was all over the papers a month ago, where the man died in strange circumstances at the haunted lodgings. That does ring a vague... Ah, of course, yes, I remember now. The young man they claimed was strangled by the convict's curse or some such. Sadly, my lord, it wasn't a curse of any kind, nor was it an accident. The man died as a result of Mr. Sanspear blowing into the gas pipe and causing gas to leak into the room. It was murder, plain and simple. Ah! Well, what do you know? The world is so unfair. Curses, curious death, that's all people care about. If it's an interesting story, they want to know. It doesn't cross their minds. Oh, I see. That's why okay, I could see why Holmes said to never talk about it, because cross their mind. That real people are involved. And once they're bored, Just 1 month later, once the story lost its appeal, everyone's forgotten him. You mean you? Duncan was... Mr. Ross was Miss Green's fiance. Fiance? You may not have known until now who Miss Green really is, Mr. Shakespeare. But she's known exactly who you are all along. Because you're her sworn enemy. The murderer who took the life of the man she was to marry. Marry? Miss Green, is it not the case that in order to exact revenge on Mr. Shakespeare, you smear poison over the end of the gas pipe? This is all quite extraordinary. Am I correct in my understanding that you now accuse both parties, counsel? Each one on different counts of murder? Attempted and completed murder. Murder and attempted murder. Yes, my lord. That's the correct.
Objection!
Inhaling so deeply, it appears that my fledgling learned friend has taken in a lungful of dubious gas that's causing his judgment to be clouded. What? Why would Mr. Shakespeare have wanted to kill these lodgers as you say? You have completely failed to provide a motive to substantiate your accusations against the man. Yes, that's right, Mr. Reaper, my liege. I have been slighted. 'Tis lies, all lies. I deny every utterance. And you'll have to forgive me, Mr. Naruhodo, sir. But I don't intend to admit to anything either. Miss Green, I'm sure you'll think I'm being very rude, but I'm not going to be sent to the gallows for the likes of this scoundrel. But you broke into the man's room, and if you didn't do it to smear poison on the pipe, what was your reason? I thought I'd have a look around, that's all. Sorry? You're right. I suspected him. So I thought perhaps I might find some evidence or something in his room. Evidence that it was him who took Duncan's life. Oh vileness, oh villainy, oh tyranny, oh rotundity of woman. But in any case, whenever I leave my room, I do turn the key in the lock. That whole place is falling apart. The locks of the doors are no different. If Duncan showed me once how to unlock the door with some terps and a piece of wire. Oh awfulness, oh artfulness, oh tyranny, oh profanity of woman. We will consider your trespassing on some future occasion, but for now, tell the court what you found, what evidence your search revealed. Well, I spotted a note that I sent him lying on the floor. Then when I bent to pick it up, I noticed something. One of the floorboards was loose, and underneath it, I discovered a secret hiding place. Eh? Yes, we also discovered the hiding place. Inside, we found a newspaper cutting, a photograph, and an empty tin box. Ah, yes. Well, the thing is, when I found it, there was something in the tin box that she took. The box wasn't empty. What? There was something in it? Yes. The key. This rather nice key. Ah! Uh-oh, he's crashing out. What are you doing with that? What the? Every ounce of color has drained from his face. Give it here. Give it to me now. It's mine. I inherited it. What was that, witness? What did you say? You inherited it? No, what's all this? Well, what's all this about? He inherited that key? It was obviously important to you since you've gone to such lengths to hide it, so I took it. I don't know what it's for, but you took something precious from me, so I took something precious from you. So what it means to you? So what if it means you can't open something now? I don't care. Give it back this minute. Give it to me. Calm yourself, witness. So Mr. Shakespeare has tried, and in one case succeeded, to take the life of 2 lodgers now. Well, yes, his motive for doing so is the key to everything that's happened. It's true that there appears to be no motive to support the accusation against Mr. Shakespeare at first. But considering everything we know now, I think there is actually something that could explain it. What? Shh, lock in. I need to recall every piece of evidence at our disposal. Everything we've seen and heard. Because I'm sure that I just caught a glimpse of the ink that runs through all of these events. In that case, counsel, I must demand that you present evidence to the court in support of your claim. What is it that you say can what, Mr. Chancellor? I am confident, but just because I don't want to read through that again, just in case I'm wrong. Did I do that? No, I don't think I did. Because I don't. Wait, did I? No. Because I didn't fail. Oh, I'll die, so whatever. Okay. Lock in. I saved, right? Is this?
Take that!
That's an official police report, is it not? The Selden file. How did you get a hold of that? Just Selden. The now sadly deceased Mr. Ross and the defendant, Mr. Natsume, have only one thing linking them: the fact that they had lodgings in the same room. Well, yes, we know this certainly. A room that was formerly occupied by Selden, until, that is, he was arrested by Scotland Yard for his involvement in multiple burglaries and some murders. I see. And it so happens that the convict Selden left behind one very substantial mystery when he died. The sum 1,000 pounds worth of loot that he stole, which as yet remains to be found. Ah, yes, of course. It's coming back to me now. It's written in his file here. 1,000 pounds lost en route to hell. That was how the papers summed it up. And it seems that one particular fellow inmate was with the convict in his final moments. It's not hard to imagine Selden entrusting that inmate with his most closely guarded secret, the location of the stolen loot, and perhaps a key to unlock whatever container the valuables were in. Ah, you mean this key is... Mr. Shakespeare, it was you, wasn't it? You were at the capital offender's side when he died, were you not? Oh, well, what are you talking about? This is a false charge, I tell you, a false charge. The name of the inmate who was with Selden at his death isn't noted in this file, but a simple telegram to the prison where he died would quickly tell us how false the charge really is. But even if it's true, why would the man be so intent on killing every subsequent occupant of the convent's lodgings? There's only one explanation for that, my lord. It was in that very room that Selden hid his loot. Yerp. So it all comes out. Yes, and having established that, all of Mr. Chancellor's subsequent actions start to make perfect sense. When he was let out of prison following Selden's death, he made immediately for the Mr. Garrett's lodging in the hope of renting Selden's old room. However, the retired army man was unable to offer him the accommodation of his choice, because Selden's old room had already been let to someone else, Mr. Duncan Ross. Which is why Mr. Sanchez so quickly devised his gas-based plot to kill the occupant of the room. And when he was successful, he presumably intended to inquire about switching into the newly vacant room. However, Mr. Den, a certain jittery someone had beaten him to it. Mr. Soseki Natsume, the defendant of this case, no less. So you decided to use the ploy with the gas again, didn't you, Mr. Sandspear? This time, to oust Mr. Natsume. All for one simple and avaricious reason: to get your hands on the 1,000 pounds of loot left behind by the dead convict. You Ugh. Ah! It's over. Looks like I'm gonna snuff it. Before I get to stretch my neck, listen, I want you to have me loot anything to stop the coppers getting their mitts on it. It's hidden in the room where I was lodging when they got me. Here. This is the key to it. Take it. Always stay one step ahead, mate. See you in hell, I guess. Shakespeare. It's mine. What did he say? What did he just say? It's mine. That loot is mine. Uh oh, he's gonna crash out. Mr. Shakespeare. It's all lies. I don't accept any of it. Why should I? After all, you don't have a shred of evidence. You can't prove I killed that fellow. Forsooth, I'm the victim here, remember? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? If I don't admit to it, there is nothing you can do. You can't arrest me, or at least the time being anyway. Barely, you can't arrest the victim, can you? Isn't that right, ladies and gentlemen? I'm so close. I just need a few more hours. I swore to myself that I'd get my hands on it, and I can almost taste it now. Do you really think I'd just give up? There's no question in my mind now. This man's guilty, through and through. But he seems so utterly intoxicated by the idea of that loot. I'm afraid that however hard you press him, he'll never admit to what he's done, Mr. Naruhodo. There is a way. Pardon? There's one way I can finish him. No. He's already committed the most heinous crimes to get his hands on that loot, which means all we need to do is find it first. A fine plan, were it not for the fact that the police thoroughly searched the room following the death of Mr. Ross. If it's not at all, it must be very well hidden indeed. Without conclusive evidence, I certainly cannot rule. If only there was some way we could find the convict's loot quickly. A certain detective, this is the final piece in the complex puzzle, but I think we might have it in our possession already. Or rather, I think we may well have something that can help us find where that loot is hidden. My lord. Yes, counsel? Defense would like to make a proposal about how to find the late convict's hidden loot. I believe we're already in possession of something that could give us a clue as to where it's whereabouts. It's our last chance, so it has to be worth a gamble. Besides, we've used the same technique once already. It eventually paid off then. Hands! Very well then, counsel. Let the court hear your idea. What do you propose you can use in order to locate? It's this thing, vicious. The thing that made the fingerprints. I don't think we have the device. We're gonna use the this princey. If I'm not mistaken, those are Mr. Shakespeare's handprints on the wall of his lodgings. That's right, my lord. Exposed as a result of the defense's independent investigation of the scene. Based on a wonderful new discovery in the field of forensic science by the great detective Mr. Soames. A great detective? Is that some kind of joke? Do you really think I'm going to be daunted by a man with such a ridiculous title? I should think the great bar ought to recognize such a title when he hears one, Mr. Shakespeare. Oh, perhaps we should compete for the honor of most ridiculous title. Ah, 'tis Sherlock Holmes himself. What are you doing here, great detective? Your unusual haunts are the filthy back streets of the capital, are they not? Ah, my Mr. Reaper, it's been too long, and I see your complexion has worsened since last we met. Mr. Sholmes, he does know Lord Francis then. Well enough to say something like that in any case. Mr. Soames, though you may be heralded as a great detective by the population at large, that does not give you the right to come in and go in my courtroom as you see fit. If I may, my lord, Mr. Soames' newly developed scientific method has helped us to uncover vital clues in this case already. Clues, you say? I call them skin prints, my lord. My method identifies every location touched by the individual under scrutiny. It's the method by which we were able to ascertain this gentleman's gas pipe activities. Ah! You need only a small sample of something the individual has previously touched. An indicator to make an indicator solution. The key. In your case, sir, I use the key that you've been holding. Elementary. So now, Mr. Naruhodo? Yeah, yes. What am I to use as a sample to make the indicator solution this time? Thank you for offering to help, Mr. Sholmes. When the convict was arrested, he was living in what is now Seki-san's room. We need a sample to help sell those. Present a person. It's her. The key. Present a person. You will need something of Selden's in order to create the indicator solution to find its clue. And something the convict owned, or happens to be, in the possession of somebody listed in the court record. Upon my word, Mr. Naruhodo, your powers of reasoning appear to be on the up. So, which particular person do you have in mind? From who can we obtain the possession of the late convict Selden to create the indicator solution? It's you!
Take that!
You have the key! Miss Green. Oh, nope. Yeah, me? What do you want with me? The key around your neck, if you please. Sorry? That key belonged to Selden. There will be remnants of secretions from the man's skin on that surface that we can use. Very true. That is the sample we need. By using it, we can create the indicator solution required for Mr. Schoen's print seeker. And find out exactly what Selden touched in the room that he used to rent. Ah! Mr. Shakespeare, as one great to another, I assure you. If the late convict's hall is hidden somewhere in his former lodgings, I shall uncover it in no more than 30 minutes. Oh! So, Mr. Shakespeare, the truth is well within our grasp now, and as such, you will never get your hands on Selden's stolen wealth. Ah. In that case, I'll gladly let Mr. Soames have this key. No! Give the key to me! The detective shan't have it! It's over, Mr. Shakespeare. No! No! You're out of options now. There's only one thing left for you to do. Admit to your guilt. Woe is me. Ah! Chancellor's fear, despair. Be thy name. He's dead. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. I never intended to kill the man. He just wanted to knock him unconscious or make him think the room was haunted and leave. I just wanted to drive him out of the room. That's all. So you'd have time to find the convict's haul of stolen goods? Yeah, after you killed the young man. Still didn't move into the room. I asked the landlord, of course. I pleaded with him, but he refused. Why? Because they had to fix the pipes. It was 3 months behind. I was 3 months behind with rent, for one thing. Mr. Gerda really has a lot to put up with. And he had the gas repair work done immediately afterward, putting the room out of action for a while. And then, this Japanese man swooped in at just the right moment to sign the new lease. Poor Mrs. Natsume. What unfortunate timing. Then, 5 days ago, after the incident on Briar Road, when the Japanese fellow got himself arrested, I thought I'd finally have my chance. But it wasn't to be. No, the scene was sealed off and guarded by police night and day. And, if I remember rightly, Mr. Stone spent the whole day in there reading books. I couldn't even enter the room, let alone search for the loot. Which is why, on the day Mr. Natsume was acquitted and returned to his room, he once again tried the trick of blowing air into the gas pipe that feeds the stove in his room. Unbeknownst to you, however, that action would lead you into a deadly trap. William Shakespeare, how does it go? To be or not to be? That is the question. From Shakespeare's Hamlet, Act 3, Scene 1. Well, let me tell you, in your case, it's not to be. That is the answer. You deserve to die for what you've done. It's over. And you, at first, I really did think it was just a terrible accident. I'd never forget our conversation the night before Duncan died. The gas supply by New Lodge a complete disaster, you know, Olive? The gas supply? Yes, the stuff always seems to go in the middle of the night for some reason. That's no joke. They say it's the convict's curse. Oh, Duncan, please, don't stay there. I don't care how cheap it is. Alright then, if it's that important to you, I'll start looking for a new place. There are spare rooms at my house. Why don't you leave that horrible room tonight? No, I better not. You said we wait until we graduated before we told our parents, remember? But that was the last time we ever... Damn! Oh, that's tragic, man. What a tragedy. That's always how it goes, no? If only it was one day sooner. If only she was admin, or so many other things you think you should have done. There's no way of knowing. If only I had known that it was going to happen. Hindsight is 2020. It's going to happen. I'd have insisted that he left that horrible room that instant. But instead, all I've been left with is bitter regret. I stopped going to school, but something kept drawing me back to the house on Briar Road. I saw a Eastern-looking man with a mustache coming out of the house one day when I was there. He walked up the road to the Grub's Grocery for some food, so I followed him. I sat myself down next to him. He had some watery-looking soup and started to pick a quarrel with the publican. That place is cursed, I tell you. Cursed! The ghost of that convict who used to live there is trying to suffocate me. I wake up in the middle of the night, freezing to death because of the stove has gone on. The room is full of gas, and I can hardly breathe. But the pipes have been checked, and no problem there. It's like I'm the problem. That's what they're thinking. Yo, you should move if you're gonna take anything away from this case. Is that, yo, if your room smells like gas when you wake up, you should not go back in that room. If you have a furnace, that's thing, or get a carbon monoxide detector, because holy, most people, you will not wake up. You will just die of suffocation. Duncan was gone, and now this man had almost suffered the same fate. Could it really be a curse? Then I remembered a rumor I had heard about how the gas companies go around investigating the gas installations. A rumor? Ah, you mean... Yes, everybody's heard the stories, it seems, about how they go around checking the pipes. How anything connected to the gas can be extinguished by blowing air into the pipework. That's when it started. A little flicker of doubt in the back of my mind that just wouldn't go away. Was it really an accident, though? Once I had an idea, it wouldn't leave me alone. It played me day and night. So I bought this at one of the black markets in the East End. A black market? I've never been. I just heard people talk about them. And you really can buy anything you can think of there. Strychnine. In some ways, being able to get my hands on this so easily, maybe even more determined. I had to find out one way or another. Was Duncan's death an accident, or was it a murder? And your chosen method for establishing the truth was simple, but highly effective. Smear poison on the gas pipe you suspected the man of tampering with and wait. If he died, yeah, if he died, it was him. And if he didn't, he'd be fine. If Mr. Sansbury was innocent, nothing would come of what he done. But if he was guilty, he would pay for his crimes dearly. Yeah, simple and effective. I found out the name of the man I suspected, William Shakespeare. And then I wrote him this little note. I have information regarding the death of Duncan Ross. Come to the Slug and Salad on Brower Road at 5 p.m. on 17th. Don't tell anybody else about this letter or the meeting. It is a matter of utmost importance. Oh, that was another way of checking too. If he was a thing too, he would not be there. So him not being there is probably like, oh. If he'd done it, I knew that would worry him enough, so he'd be sure to go. So I waited to see if it worked. And of course, Mr. Sansbury followed the instructions to the letter. I worked out where the gas pipe was straight away. So I submit. So I smeared a good amount of the poison about all around the mouth of the pipe. All the time praying that the devil's work wouldn't be done, and that it was all just some wild fantasy. But seeing how he was saying is actually, no, that's not true. No, that's not true. Actually, I wanted him to die. All the time praying that if the devil's work would be done, and that the culprit would get his just desserts. I wanted to kill him. Yeah, I don't. Did that scene from The Punisher, or was it the Devil where the Punisher's in the testify? He's like, yeah, I did it, and I do it again too. You guys think I'm insane? Time for punishment, Mr. Castle. 3 days ago, when you were first stood in the dock before me, this whole affair seemed relatively straightforward. Yes, my lord. I certainly never imagined the depth of depravity that we should subsequently find lurking behind the scenes. It has been a long road, my Nipponese friend. Oh, yes. And one I certainly didn't envisage walking with you. Nevertheless, together we have reached the light at the end of the tunnel, as it were. Miss Green. Yes, my lord. You will henceforth be stripped of your freedom as punishment for the attempted murder of Mr. William Shakespeare. Yes, I know. And you, Mr. Shakespeare, well, you will be tried for the murder of Mr. Duncan Ross in cold blood, and the subsequent attempted murder of Mr. Soseki Natsume here present. Mr. Naruhodo. Ah, yes. Yesterday at the hospital, when you and your friends stopped me from ending your life by drinking what was left of this poison bottle, I wasn't myself. I can't even really remember what was going through my mind. To be or not to be, I suppose. That's a question that's so hard to answer, it seems. Yes. Well, personally, I'm glad of your being here, Miss Green. Oh, and I'd like to believe that it's the blessing that Mr. Sansom didn't die when he ingested the poison. For your sake, at the very least. You're finally getting some closer. Because of you, I choose life, not death. And now you've made the truth come out at last. Really, I can't thank you enough. Oh, Miss Green. That's all she ever wanted. I do everyone, whatever. Mr. Soseki Natsume. Yes, my lord. The court declares that you are exonerated from all blame in this matter. Accordingly, I would call upon the ladies and gentlemen of the jury to present a verdict of not guilty. We are in full agreement, my lord. In that case, I hereby declare the defendant not guilty. Court is adjourned. Well, we did it. Okay, so it wasn't really for it. Well, it is. Well, it wasn't for a sinister reason why we're not gonna put why the story is not getting published or we can't talk about the case, but because of because of what she said about how people will just treat it. People wouldn't treat her like they were real people. So as to not further that end, they're like, okay, we won't publish this story. We'll give her the honor of not publishing the story. Oh yes, yes, at last, divine justice duly done. Divine justice. Hold on. I'm gonna. My dear fellow, if there were any divine justice in this world, you would shave that mustache. Holy, no! It has nothing to do with my mustache. Some say that the luxuriant mustache is a sign of physical prowess, Mr. Sholmes. Locum student, Mr. Naruhodo Esquire. Once again, you saved me from doom. I'm very happy to have been able to help, Mr. Natsume. He has appeared in 3 cases so far. That's crazy. Congratulations on your acquittal. Your second is in almost as many days. Yeah, he's like, yeah, I'm getting the fuck out of this country, man. Get me the hell out of here. I was first acquainted to you with a gained affection for English literature. I was first acquainted with and gained affection for the English literature whilst in our great homeland empire. And then, by a twist of fate, I was brought to the land that roared the fruit of that literature only. The city of bricks and mortar became my prison. Try as I might, I never found my feet here. In the end, I confined myself to my room and lived life through friendly, bold books. You've had such a difficult time, haven't you? But a week ago now, I dragged you out of that dark and dingy room of yours, did I not? You did, and I've seen more of life in this week than all of my years to date. And for the first time, I feel I've begun to see the true face of the English that's so far been hiding from me behind the wall of fog. I don't like what I see, my dear fellow. There's nothing special about the true face of English, as you put it. Wheresoever one goes in the world, humans are human. There are few genuine differences. Yes, I think you're right. I finally started to see that, and I've come to understand something. I've worked out why I was attracted to English literature in the first place. It made me see that whatever our nationality, we humans all have the same hopes and fears. We're all just doing our best to live. Well said. I've come to feel the same way. I've made a decision too. I'm going to cut short my study tour here and return to Japan. What? Just when we become friends here in Enigmas. What a terrible shame. Oh, I know. That does tug at my heartstrings. It really does. But I've decided I'd like to take everything I've learned here in Britain and write something of my own. Novel of sorts, I suppose. Oh my. So you're creating your own literature, Mr. Natsume? How wonderful. Oh, well, no, I mean, I wouldn't presume to call it literature. Why not? When that is precisely the definition of Mr. Mustache. I suppose you're right. Yes. I will in a way be literature. But as of now, all I know is that I'd like to try my hand at writing. I have no delusions of grandeur. Yeah, that changes in 6 months. I, for one, would love to read your works. Well, all things considered, it may be for the best. After all, you have once again emerged victorious from a battle with the Reaper. Ah, that's very true. And there is no salvation for a person in the dock when the Reaper is the prosecutor. The desire to return post haste to perceive safety of your homeland is one I quite understand. My goodness, yes, faced with such a terrifying prospect. Nobody would consider that cowardly. Nobody would consider that cowardly, I'm quite sure. But that's not why I'm leaving. I mean it. Oh, objection! Hey, that's my thing, bro. You can't steal it. And that was the case that we found ourselves embroiled in 6 months ago now. The Seki-san did indeed return to Japan and submitted a report about both cases to the government. It was on reading that report that Professor Mikotoba was prompted to visit the scholar, and barely at any time later, Susato-san was given news that she must return to Japan as well, on the back of a telegram that stating falsely that her father had fallen gravely ill. Well, the only possible explanation that comes to mind is it has to do, well, not being so much a thing, but it has to do with what happened to Selden. I'm guessing that Selden case, there must be something more to it. Is what happened after the trial. Oh, never mind. Was what happened after the trial on the following day, the day that we uncovered the loot hidden by the now deceased convict. Well, okay, never mind. I was right, in his former lodgings. With the police. Oh, well done, Mr. Soames. How simply marvelous of you to uncover the secret hiding place in just one day. Wasn't it supposed to take 30 minutes? As I believe I told you, my dear fellows, skin prints are extremely useful in such situations. Wouldn't you agree, Gregson? Gregson has been happily munching in agreement this whole time, you know, Hurley. Happily. I think perhaps humorlessly might be closer to the truth. So, it transpires that the man fashioned the hiding place in the ceiling. And what's in it? What exactly is the loot? Let us look then, if you're ready. Let's examine the late burglar's hall. What is that? Whoa! It looks to be some kind of neckband or collar. There's blood on it. A collar. It's huge though. And look at the gemstones set in it. I can see why it's going to be worth 1,000 pounds, or perhaps I could have it as a belt. Oh, have you noticed the inside there? There's some kind of dark stains. It's blood. You don't think they could be blood, do you? I mean, there's quite a lot of it. On second thoughts, perhaps I won't have it as a belt. Then of course, there's this emblem here. There's this emblem here. A large letter B and a small crown. And then Sherlock Holmes is like, nope. What does this signify, do you think? Holmes like, okay, we're leaving. Oh, we're not touching that anymore. Okay, we're done here. Oh, I hadn't noticed that. Holmes is gonna say no. B, I feel as though I've seen that emblem somewhere before, you know. Where could it have been? That's enough of that, I think. Yeah, I knew it. It's like, okay, that's enough. They're like, yep, we're done here. Like, that's enough of that, I think. You're like, what? What's the matter with Sholmes? Mr. Sholmes? All the color has drained from his face. Yep, well, Inspector, I believe you ought to be taking this. Oughtn't you? It could be valuable evidence after all. It must be kept safely under lock and key. Yes. He knows too. Get your grubby hands off that, you lot, and hand it over now. Yeah, they know what it's about. I've never seen a collar that large before, and all those jewels certainly look to be extremely valuable. But that's not what stood out the most to me. At least not once I noticed it. Those dark marks on the inside of the collar, those stains, could they really have been blood? Well, that was a funny case, wasn't it? But it's all buttoned up now. And you look very pleased, Iris. I am, because I was starting to wonder what I could use as a basis of one story in the magazine. But this case will be perfect. It'd be so fascinating. Nope! You're talking about the latest installment of the Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, I presume? The mystery of the knife in the mist and the mustached man and the convict's curse, perhaps. I can make it a two-part story. Oh, I can't wait. A word, please, Iris. Yes? What is it, Hurley? I'm sorry, but you can't write about this case. It's out of the question. What? Why not? It's a great case. Then I shall have to insist that you limit yourself to the first of your two titles. The second must never be written. Is that clear? Yes. Whoa.
And so it was that the second of Souseki-san's cases became buried in obscurity. Now, looking back, I feel I understand. I can see why Mr. Sholmes forbade Iris from publishing the story. It would take a little longer before I saw the link between everything that had happened and would happen.
What happened? Now, Ryunosuke.
For it wasn't until 2 months after the arrival of Susato-san's letter that events began to unfurl again, with an incident that took place at the very heart of the eagerly awaited Great Exhibition of London.
Crystal Tower. And, oh, we got a new... They're involved. He knows about the list, too. This was only episode 2. Oh my gosh. Return of the Great Departed Soul. Did we have some... Oh, the great... Uh-oh. If you remember, in the second case where Kazuma died was called the Great Departure. And this says the return of the great departed soul. What? Hold on, let's see. Let's start. Let's see. This is like a canon of some sorts. The great departed soul.
The grand end of the century Great Exhibition of London. Surely there is not a soul who has failed to hear of it. Wondrous new works of culture and industry from every corner of the globe had converged on Hyde Park, welcoming over 50 million visitors.
Dude, that's so much.
Great
50
hurrah of this century. Astonished and delighted people of all nations, and ended on a note of resounding success. But as regards to the terrible catastrophe that occurred during the festivities, very few are aware my friend Mr. Sherlock Holmes had a hand in unraveling the matter. For from the shadows, it was he who earnestly unearthed the facts of the case. And like the centerpiece of the Great Exhibition, which rose high into the skies of Hyde Park, Sholmes's brilliant deductions, as clear and lofty as the Crystal Tower itself, brought the truth to light.
We're here at the showground of the Great Exhibition, which is absolutely packed with people. The weather is unusually fine, and with extraordinary scientific experiments.
Thanks for the raid. Yara, thanks. I appreciate it. The weather is usually fine. Oh wait, he's talking.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 20th century will see steam engines and electrical power dominate the world. Horse-drawn carts will give way to the motor car.
Hello.
Ships will sprout wings and take to the skies.
Oh, thanks for the follow. Oh my gosh, that's so delayed in my ear. Thank you.
And today, we showcase even more advanced technology. A glimpse into the future.
William and Turner.
A world first. A demonstration of my super high voltage instantaneous kinesis machine.
First I need.
A man will literally be disassembled by a pulse of high voltage electricity and beamed to another location.
Oh, transporter. That first you should have started with the transporter first. I thought you just we created a death ray.
Whereupon his body will be reassembled.
Reassembled.
Complex calculations exactly as it was before.
Reassembled.
In but a few moments from now, this gentleman will, in the blink of an eye, complete an incredible journey through the air. To arrive an instant later on the Crystal Tower behind you! This one, yes!
Uh-oh.
Yes! Please, that's not what I wanted.
Uh-oh. Boom. Bruno, are you listening? Oh, sorry. What was that, Iris? We just finished the second case, and then we're on to the third one now. This is the third case, in case you're wondering. Right at the start. I will go on for a little longer. I want to see what this case is all about. What's the matter with you? You've been miles away all morning. Didn't you like what I cooked for breakfast? No, that's not it at all. What were we talking about again? Today's paper is full of news about the Great Exhibition again. Yes, the Great Exhibition. I'd like to go sometime. You're really not your usual self today. You seem very down. Don't you agree, Hurley? But he's... Oh, why is he crashing? Did you say something, Iris? Oh gosh, you're even more down. What's going on? Well, when did you arrive, Mr. Naruhodo? I've been here for about half an hour already. We had breakfast together, men. Why didn't you mention it before? I thought you might have known I was here, because breakfast? Iris is quite right. You're clearly lacking in vim. So much so that I didn't notice your presence. Thanks. Of course, I could deduce the reason perfectly well within some simple observations. What? Let's see. Yes, for example, your tousled hair this morning with all its unruly spikes. Oh, it gets really good. Oh my gosh. That's good to hear. Clearly it can be deduced therefore that let me stop you there, Mr. Sholmes, because I think I can see where this is going. I was worried that since we had one flashback case that we would have more flashbacks, but hopefully that's not the case, and by what you say is probably not going to be the case. Seems like it's not going to be the case. I think I can see where this is going. My hair always looks like this. It always has, ever since we first met, in fact. Oh, really? How interesting. It just doesn't look like a haircut as such, I suppose. Man, I'm gonna... Thanks again. This guy, he's yucking it up. It crossed my mind recently that it's been 6 months now. 6 months? Since I was forbidden from working in court. So I've been wondering how much longer I'm going to be banned. Oh, well, that would explain why you seem so rather glum. Don't you agree, Hurley? He's down now too. Wait, why is he now sad? What? Did you say something, Iris? Back to moping. What's the matter with Mr. Sholmes today? He seems even more down in the dumps than me. I know, and the great exhibition is open. You'd think he'd be excited. Oh, why don't we all go to see it together? I want to, of course I do, but I can't. Not for the time being. Why not? Why not? Why not? Because I'm a great detective after all. So you're embroiled in some trickery case that you can't be distracted from? Is that it? I don't remember hearing that you're working on a case, Hurley. I suppose I should try to find out what's going on. Hold on, you piqued my interest. What's wrong, Mr. Holmes? Mr. Sholmes? Oh, don't want to get sued. Half a year ago now, I took on the defense of a young girl in a trial heard at the Old Bailey. What at first seemed like a simple case of murder that took place at a London pawnbrokery turned out to be one part of a much more far-reaching plot that involved the British government. During the course of the trial, it was found that I made an unavoidable yet at the same time unforgivable mistake. Yeah, so because you just, even though he had no control, words fail me, this situation is utterly deplorable. Mr. Naruhodo. Yes, my lord. I will decide upon your fate following the conclusion of this trial. Of course, my lord. So he then banned me. And at the end, I had my right to represent people in court revoked. I was told I had to spend my time in research and study. So that's what I've been doing. You have, haven't you, Bruno? Reading all those big, fat tomes about British law up in your room and the notes about Sholmes' old cases. Brewing Iris's special blends of tea, fetching my daily bread for me. You become something of a manservant around here. Start on the Silver Rose next. Holy, yo, this guy. Well, I'm thinking of going to ask the powers that be to reconsider, especially Lord Strongheart at the British Supreme Court on Whitehall. Lord Strongheart? Delightful Lord Chief Justice? Not my favorite fellow. He's not mine either, but he's the man I have to talk to. He's the only one who can grant permission for me to start working in the courts again. I came to Britain to become the best lawyer I could, and I can't do that just sitting around here. The whole of London has been pretty swept up in this great exhibition, hasn't it? The most advanced science, the most modern technology, the finest works of art, and feats of engineering. For the next 6 months, our capital will be showcasing these things. 6 months? That's a long expo on the world will be watching. Oh, do you know that what I like to do? I like to look down on London from one of those lovely balloons. Look down on? You mean those things fly? Yes, of course. They fly high in the sky and don't even need wings to do it. All you need is hot air. But how? How does hot air have anything to do with flying? It makes no sense. I can't understand it at all. That's true of a lot of new scientific discoveries. Most people can't understand them at first, but at 100 years' time, all these things will just be common knowledge. True? I suppose it might be. Heat rises, man. That's all you need to know. Mind you, some of the science being demonstrated seems very questionable. Something went wrong in the open experimentation stage yesterday. Apparently, there was a huge explosion. Still, I wish I'd seen it though. I'd love to see how bad some of these scam experiments really are. Says the innocent 10-year-old girl. See here, every page of this paper carries some article or other about the great exhibition. But the brighter the things shine, the darker the shadows that are cast behind them. Perhaps personally, I find myself drawn into the darkness, to the impenetrable. That is my proper atmosphere. The great yeah, okay. Shadows cast behind. Is that a metaphorical way of referring to the back page of the paper? Hold on. Is there a back page of the paper? Oh, he was attacked? What the heck? So many so many glowing reports about the Great Mission and everything's going on there, other than this rather gloomy looking one that is. Lord Van Zieks and compatriot cornered. Wait, what? What's the matter, Bruno? What is this? The Reaper attacked. That's Lord Van Zieks. This must be what Mr. Sholmes was talking about. Does he know it? Does he know anyone anymore, I wonder? So let's point it out. Yo. Reaper attack. Well, let's start with this. Are you investigating a particularly tricky case at the moment, Mr. Sholmes? You could say that, I suppose. Nothing more to add? That's not like you. What sort of case is it? Shh! Quiet, Mr. Naruhodo. You must not discuss it here. You never know who might be listening. Like, you're acting very strangely, Hurley. What do you mean? Iris? Well, usually. He can't shut up about it. The more mysterious and complicated the case is, the better Hurley's mood. Ah. Is it really a case that's bothering you? Iris, please, you mustn't exercise your astute powers of observation and deduction on me without invitation. Remember what I always say. Put yourself in the shoes of the individual about whom you're making deductions. You say that, do you? You, Mr. Sholmes? Never mind. Once I've had a cup of tea, I must make my way at once to the crime scene. That was a deep sigh. It says in the paper that Lord Van Zieks was attacked. That's terrible. You know that legend of the Reaper of the Bailey of... You know the legend of the Reaper of the Bailey. Of course, don't you? Only too well, in fact. Yes, Prosecutor Barak Van Zieks. They say that if the Reaper is the prosecutor in the case, there's no salvation for whoever's in the dock. Yeah, they're cooked. Even if the defendant is found not guilty in Mr. McGilda's case, once the Reaper has somebody in his sights, one way or another, that person's time left on this earth will be short. London's finest rogues always find ways around the law. They'll stop at nothing to secure an acquittal at a trial. Falsify evidence, paying sham witnesses, threatening jurors, bribing judges. But even such devious tactics as these cannot save them from the hand of the Reaper. As you've experienced yourself, haven't you, Mr. Naruhodo? Yes, I've seen the Reaper's retribution at work. Many of these criminal rogues are reckless and quite unafraid to die. If a leader among their fraternity is seen to have been taken to the Reaper, retaliation like this doesn't cure. Really, the capital has never-ending supply of such scoundrels. So, do you mean Lord Van Zieks has been attacked like this before? This isn't the first time. He's quite an accomplished combatant, you know? He doesn't take these attacks lying down. Although, it seems that his assailants were armed with guns this time. Oh my goodness. Is he alright then? Is Lord Van Zieks hurt? My dear fellow, how on earth would I know? Well, in the article here it says, as to what of Lord Van Zieks and his condition, all will be revealed in tomorrow morning's edition. Ah, I see. Well, we shall have to be patient then. No, I can't wait until tomorrow. In that case, you shall have to inquire with somebody in the know. But who? Lord Strongheart, perhaps? Well, we're gonna go there anyway, so might as well go. Oh, well, I'm off. Well, I must be leaving now. Yes, understood. See you later, Mr. Sholmes. Peace out. Ha! You really are a shameless liar sometimes, my dear fellow. What? You seek to put me off my guard and follow me, don't you? Well, you would be wasting your time. The thought hadn't crossed my mind, but now I'm wondering where you're going. Well then, see you later, indeed. Listen to him. He's still laughing on his he's still laughing on his way out of the door. Oh, what kind of getup is that? All right, Bruno, let's get going. What are you? Oh, Iris, what are you wearing? I've got changed to go to the Great Exhibition. You're going to take me. What? But I was just about to go to the Supreme Court. Oh, well, that sounds fun too. You're going to take me there. You're going to take me there then too. All right, fine. Just lower that weapon, would you? Of course. And after the Supreme Court, then we'll go to see the great exhibition. Okay, let's go talk to the Lord Chief Justice. How are there birds in here? So I always wondered that. 22nd of October, British Supreme Court, Lord Chief Justice. It's been about 6 months now since I was last here, but some things never change, like the sense of foreboding I always seem to feel in this place. Oh, Iris, what do you... Doesn't seem to be bothering Iris at all, though. She's happily reading over there, her feet clipping to the floor. Oh, I love this place. I always find so many interesting books here. Of course, I was forgetting that you've been here before. The time we came here 6 months ago. When Susato had to... Yeah, we caught Susato and him discussing something. When Susato was given that news that she was to return to Japan. Ah, I understand you wish to speak with me. Lord Strongheart. Oh, Lord Strongheart. I trust you've been keeping well. Let's see. Since you arrived and requested an audience, it's been 4 hours, 32 minutes, and 26 seconds. I've kept you waiting a while. My apologies. Oh no, not at all. I like nothing more than standing around staring into space. Good to know. Good to know that it doesn't appear to bother him at all. Male Strongheart, Lord Chief Justice of London. He's the man who's allowed me to start practicing as a defense lawyer when I arrived in Britain as a student. You need only savor the air for a moment in this grand office to understand his preeminent status. As you will be aware, the Great Exhibition of London is now underway at last. We're extremely busy as a result, policing the grounds, guarding the new technologies, dealing with petty crime, and furthermore, as of next month, we shall open the International Forensic Science Symposium. Oh, I've not heard about that. Investigating authorities from 40 countries around the globe will be taking part, including from your own land. For forensic science is the future, the world must embrace it. So that's okay. Then that's when her dad's gonna come, because he is in forensic science. So he's probably coming next month. As we're the hosting nation, I have much to do, and it is my highest priority. If others must wait for my attention as a result, so be it. Well, it's nice to know where I stand. So, you wish to consult with me? Of course, I can very well imagine what this is about. Thank you for agreeing to this meeting, my lord. I want to be allowed to start working as a defense lawyer again in court. That's what brought me here today. But actually, there's something else playing on my mind, as it happens. Bruno, just take a deep breath and come out with it. Yeah. I actually came here today to ask for your permission. Go on. 6 months ago, my right to work in the court as a lawyer was revoked and I was told to spend my time studying. Obviously, I'm very sorry for what happened, but the thing is, it made me understand what it really means to defend somebody under the rules of a foreign justice system. And I desperately want to have another go. Please, permit me to enter the courtroom again. Mr. Naruhodo? Yes? Here it comes. I'm sure you haven't forgotten your position here, have you? At best, you are a substitute for your compatriot. This was never your intended role. Well, that's true. The Japanese government actually set my best friend on the study tour, not me. It should have been Kazuma. He was so determined to bring change to our own justice system at home. This was his calling. Yep, okay, yep. Now we're getting all the Kazuma scenes, yeah. If that tragic accident didn't happen, yeah. If only it didn't, I wouldn't be here in this office now. Mr. Asogi was my best friend, you see. That's why I can't leave it unfinished. I have to fulfill his calling for him. His calling, you say. Has it never occurred to you that perhaps you know nothing of his true calling? Sorry? The mission with which you were that young law student was charged, what do you suppose it really was? What do you mean? Mission? He's not making any sense. Sorry. Never mind. Never mind. I've read all the reports you submitted over the past 6 months. It's clear to me that you regret your actions and have been studiously obeying your revised instructions. Do you mean? Yes. As of this moment, I reinstate your license to practice law here in Great Britain. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. That's wonderful news, Bruno. In fact, I have a case for you. I believe I have the perfect case to mark your comeback. A curious affair. You'll consider it, I hope. Of course. Please tell me more. Hey, before that, can I ask you about this? Oh, that reminds me. Have you seen this? The reports of the overwhelming success of the Great Exhibition? Of course. No, not that. The story on the back page. What story? The Reaper attack. Ah, that. You've enjoyed some victories in courts against my #1 prosecutor, have you not? Poor Mr. Reaper. What happened to him? He wasn't killed, was he? There's no need for concern. Lord Vanzies would not be so easily dispatched, I assure you. Can you tell us what happened? I'd really love to know. Very well. If it interests you. It does, strangely. But no one gonna say anything about this compatriot? Who? You described it as a curious affair. Yes, that's right. I believe it was reported in the press. Are you aware that there was a serious accident at the Great Exhibition yesterday? Oh, no. Yes, I read about it. A professor from Germany tried to carry out a crazy experiment. Let me see. How was it described? Super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, I think? Instantaneous kinesis, as in moving things with the click of the fingers? That's right. It's just what my herbal blends need. A devil-may-care. Whoa, hey, hold on. Devil-may-care. Whatever the serious accident was exactly, it's clearly captured Iris's imagination. It's an unfortunate business. A large explosion engulfed the public experimentation stage and a man lost his life. Certain Mr. O.D. Asman, an investor and a well-known figure in society. A large explosion. A man died. The man responsible for the experiment was Professor Albert Harebrain. He was detained immediately after the accident and is due to appear in court tomorrow on the charge of murder. Oh, what? Murder? If you intend to take on his defense, you should hurry to meet with him at the prison. There is very little time left for you to carry out any kind of investigation. The Great Exhibition, a scientific experiment gone wrong, and murder? I feel out of my depth before I even started. Still, we should get to the prison straight away then try to meet with this German professor. Don't you think? Definitely. Ah, yes. One more thing about the case. There's a connection with our mutual acquaintance, the Reaper. Oh, with Lord Vanzies? How? Oh, okay, so let's get this boring. All sorts of conferences have been taking place around the world to coincide with the Great Exhibition. And next month, the largest and most important of them all will take place at last. The International Forensic Science Symposium. It does seem as though criminal investigation needs to embrace scientific methods, doesn't it? Exactly. London, the global epicenter of culture, science, and wealth, now has a population exceeding 6 million. Sadly, crime in the capital is growing at a similarly startling rate, so it's imperative that we use the latest scientific methods to investigate and resolve cases as efficiently as possible, which is what's known as forensic science, isn't it? Exactly, the future of policing. The future of policing. Regrettably, however, Britain is currently dragging its feet when it comes to the adoption of forensics methods. Oh dear, that's alarming. Exactly. It's extremely alarming. Exactly. It's extremely alarming. If I were Her Majesty's Attorney General, you can be sure the numbers of crimes committed and resolved in London would be very different to the current figures. And I can cite 12 solid arguments and 223 individual reasons to support my claim. Sorry? By way of apology for keeping you waiting earlier, I shall detail everyone now. You don't need to do that. What? Oh, how fascinating. Iris. It all began 15 years ago. I was... And then it's like, the eyes glazing over. It's like... brain overload. He brain flooded us. And that more or less sums up my feelings on the matter. And that's in the simplest of terms, of course. Essentially, for formally establish a forensic investigation division within Scotland Yard, that is my mission. Oh, right. Yes, that's wonderful. Exactly. Wonderful is precisely what it will be. Iris isn't paying attention at all. She's got her nose in another book now. Oh, you done? Oh, is it over? Did you learn anything useful? I actually differed off for the most part. He's surprisingly ardent about forensic science. Emma? Miss Sky? Fortunately, Lauren Van Seeks emerged from the attack unscathed. Street ruffians are no match for that man. He's a very capable fighter. But that's incredible. They were armed with guns. Why was he attacked? Do we know? It's related to events that occurred a month ago. A leader of one of the capital's criminal organizations was indicted and prosecuted by Van Seeks. Oh, but the man was acquitted. I no doubt large sums of money were involved behind the scenes. Large sums of money. A deplorable situation. Members of the jury were bribed, it seems. However, despite winning his freedom, the man in question met a dramatic end yesterday. But you're not suggesting that there was the work of the Reaper, surely? The victim's henchman certainly seemed to think so. He was a man by the name of Asman. Oh! Mr. Odie Asman, the person who died. Wait, did you say Asman? The investor? The man who died in the big explosion at the Great Exhibition? Yes, known publicly as an investor, but in reality, the head of a significant criminal organization. Unbelievable. So money laundering. Okay. I wonder, could I ask you something, Mr. Lord Strongheart? Try me. Why do you use Lord Van Seeks as a prosecutor? All the criminals who manage to get off in court then meet with mysterious ends outside the courtroom, and fearful of that fate, they seek to strike at Lord Van Seeks first. I know there's no evidence that he actually is the Reaper in that sense, but still, something's clearly going on here. I have Van Seeks work for the prosecution service for 2 reasons. Firstly, the man is the best prosecutor in the capital, bar none. And secondly, any deaths of criminals that have occurred outside the courtroom following his trials are nothing to do with him. But that doesn't make sense. How can he explain the way so many have died if not by someone's hand? Van Seeks may have earned himself the moniker of the Reaper, but he is no killer. So he will continue to prosecute on behalf of the crown. Unless he wishes otherwise, of course. All right, time's up. Check the watch. Well, must be leaving for our next engagement. I'm already 11 hours and 16 minutes late. My colleagues may be starting to fidget. 11 hours late. That's quite something. That meeting had already started when I arrived back here for this engagement with you. So lateness was inevitable. Time stops for no man. I'm sure it stopped for me during those 12 solid arguments and 223 reasons. Oh yes, where would I find Lord Van Seeks now? I would assume he's at his office. Right, I'll go and ask him about the attack in person. I want to get this straight from the horse's mouth. Anyway, away with you now. I'm leaving Professor Harebrain's defense entirely in your hands. Of course, yes, thank you very much, my lord. I'm more interested in this. We'll talk to him and then we're gonna end the stream. It's Monster Hunter time. Wait, why did this? Is this not like? Hold on, wait. This literally reminds me of Damon Gant's office from Ace Attorney 1. Am I crazy? Oh, so this is the legendary Reaper's office. Yes, it appears so. Brr, it sends a chill down your spine, doesn't it? What an amazingly deathly atmosphere. Oh, is that? Oh! That hooded figure was so still, I hadn't noticed his or her presence. I wonder who it is. Do you not see they're sitting at a What are you doing here? Ah! Oh! He's all as unwelcoming as I thought he'd be. Actually, maybe even more so. Oh, I'm glad to see you're well. I am. So, who's this person over by the wall being punished for something or other? No punishment is taking place here. Oh, Don. That's my apprentice, and he's sitting there of his own free will. I didn't know you had an apprentice. It must be the same person who was pictured in the news. Dude, I already know who it is, man. It's so... It must be the same person who was pictured in the newspaper. He's not dead, bro. What the heck? He's very able in combat, a requisite for skill for anyone under my tutelage. Are you referring to the attack on the Reaper that was reported in the papers? The Reaper? I'd be interested to know the Reaper's true identity myself. Assuming that it is such a fabled fiend who genuinely inhabits our great courtrooms. Nor Strongheart said that the assault last night was some sort of revenge attack. True. Carried out by henchmen of O.D. Asman's criminal organization, the investigation meant their arrests were imminent. Presumably some hoped to kill me before that happened. O.D. Asman. He always masqueraded as one of London's most powerful financiers, just like McGill did, a global investor. But his enormous wealth came to him by underhanded means via his criminal activity, also like McGill did. And he used that money to buy himself a verdict of not guilty when he found himself in court, didn't he? Also like McGill did. Being prosecuted by you, Mr. Reaper, also does the same for Mr. McGill did too. But the man got his comeuppance in the end, just like Mr. McGill did. Yesterday, in fact, in extraordinary circumstances, it was the most unusual cause of death. I know about that. It was a super high voltage instantaneous kinesis gone wrong. Mr. Asman died when the demonstration of the public experimentation stage ended in an enormous explosion. Correct. And you think I have some kind of divine ability to cause an accident like this to happen, do you? Well, no, that does seem to be a little far-fetched. If this man really is a fabled Reaper, then he has to be innocent of this particular death at least. It's strange how this has worked out, isn't it, Bruno? I mean, what with you taking on the professor's defense for the trial tomorrow? What? You're going to be defending him? Oh, yes, that's right. I thought I barely... Yeah, oh, yes, that's right, though I barely know the man's name yet, to be honest. Albert Hairbrain. That's right. Do you know him by any chance? Of course. He's a contemporary of mine. We were at university together. You're... What? I understood that Professor Hairbrain was from Germany, though. Yeah, Hairbrain is from a respectable British family. After graduating from the University of London, he moved to Germany to carry out research, that's all. So you were studying students together. I was in the faculty of law, of course, and he in science, so our paths rarely crossed. But curiously, we got along, though I've not met him since my university days. I certainly didn't expect our next encounter to take this form. And with you of all people representing him. Only if I make it out of this office alive. He's actually been charged with murder, it seems. Yes, I know. because the prosecution is me, will be handled by me. Yeah, you, but you made it sound as if you and the professor had been friends. We are friends, it's true. Then why would you do this? If the Reaper is the prosecutor, there's nothing anyone can do to save him. He's doomed. Well, what's Lord Van Ziek's thinking? What do you mean by what you said before? You'd like to know the Reaper's true identity? Does that mean I'm a crown, a prosecutor, an immortal like any other? I'm no demigod. But they've all died, haven't they? The people you prosecuted, I mean. Whether or not the trial ended a conviction or an acquittal. Those I prosecute are the vilest wretches of our society. People who without question deserve to be found guilty. The world is a better place without them. But that's not true of Mr. Natsume, for example. He wasn't a vile wretch at all. Nor was Ginny. In fact, she was ever so hardworking now. She's ever so hardworking now. I can't deny that since I encountered you, things have been taking a turn. The point is this. If any of those vile wretches that escaped justice subsequently died in mysterious circumstances, it had nothing to do with me. It was at the hand of their own kind. It's not my work. Lord Strongheart said the same. He believes you're not involved in any way, but you were attacked by those ruffians because they believe it's true. The fact is, since people started to call me the Reaper of the Bailey, the number of serious crimes in the capital has dropped substantially. Oh, so that's why it would appear that even the most hardened criminals can be made fearful of their lives. They're superstitious. Do you mean to say they're basically using you as a deterrent? They're using the rumor. Yes. I mean to say that if I pseudonym serves a useful purpose, I adopted it gladly and with honor. But it's putting you in danger. You could be killed. If that is my fate, let God decide. Lord Van Ziek. Okay. Are we done? Oh, there's nothing more to ask. Well, obviously, it really looks like a punishment to me. I've never seen someone sitting like that before. He hasn't moved a muscle since we arrived. Do you think perhaps he's dead? If he was dead, Bruno, he wouldn't be sitting up, would he? Well, anyway, dead or alive, he's not overly approachable, is he? I don't think he's going to talk to us. He's not dead. I don't know, man. That looks tough. Are there bats in his room? What? There were bats. Yes, the Reaper's familiar as I expected. But what about the mute man in the dark cloak? I thought he was the familiar, just not the flying kind. It must be a dear friend of Mr. Reaper then. I think the familiar idea is more likely. Scary though, either way. Maybe I have to... That portrait really dominates the room, doesn't it? It's a very majestic outfit and pose, but sadly, whoever painted it didn't do a very good job at capturing Lord Van Ziek's facial features. Yes, you're right. I mean, it's not far off, but the artist has exaggerated his sense of handsomeness, I think. Ah, that reminds me. I heard Emperor Napoleon of France ordered artists to make him look more attractive when they painted him. How vain. That's really not an attractive quality in a person, is it? That portrait does not depict me. Surely that does not depict me. Surely that's immediately obvious. Oh, then who is it? Oh, you're right. No, that's not him. Then who is? It? Oh, look, it's a scale model of the Great Exhibition Showground. That's amazing. That's amazing. I wonder why it's here. Perhaps he made it to take his mind off the sadness of being too busy to attend in person, or perhaps he's too embarrassed to queue up for a ticket. Surely it's obvious that I'm using it to investigate as an investigative aid. Ah. You Nipponese have no business painting others as overly reserved. I really didn't think he'd overhear that. Lord Van Ziek's desk. Look, it's so stylish. And that's marble chess set beside it. Chess? That's the Western version of our Japanese shogi game, isn't it? You know, I'm actually quite good at shogi problems. Oh, really? You probably like the chess problems in that case. I'd love to challenge you, Lord Van Ziek, sometime. Maybe do a bout of shogi problems. If you only really want to challenge yourself, you can always do that on your own time, at home. Oh, the chalices, and look at the fine collection of hollow chalices and bottles neatly lined up there. My hollow bottles are filled with the essence of the finest grapes of the finest vineyards I visit. And I personally oversee the chalices being made by the finest crystal craftsmen in the world. And yet you throw them around in court like they were worthless. Yes, because the imbecile is so unimaginably and repeatedly wide of the mark of some sign. Oh. Before you open your mouth next time, you should consider the poor artisans who work you defile. So, it's my fault. Silly me. How could I ever have thought otherwise? Okay, so... Oh, so you know what it must be? It must be that I need to talk to the guy first. Or Van Ziek's about the article in this paper. Ah, yes, it seems there was a reporter nearby when that little skirmish took place. I had no idea I'd been photographed. It was careless of me. It looks as though it was taken after the people who attacked you had run away, though. Rest assured, the police have already apprehended every last one of them. But there's someone else fighting alongside you, it seems. And I think it's the same man who's sitting over there as we speak, isn't it? As I mentioned already, he is my apprentice. Perhaps you could tell us a little more about him. Oh. Uh-oh, let's hear it. He's in my tutelage to become a prosecutor. So you could say he's my apprentice, I suppose. Ah, like you are to Hurley then, Runo? I don't remember taking an apprenticeship with a great detective. What's he doing? He's currently compiling a report about the last night's attack. It looks as like he's wearing some kind of mask. Or in lower Strongheart's orders, nobody knows the man's face, or indeed his identity. But why would you agree to take on such a clearly suspicious individual? Lord Strongheart's orders, again, he's not one for meaningless follies. There will be a good reason for his actions. I hope you're right. Whoa, hello. Ah! The task is complete? Good. In that case, you can collate all the briefs. He's not gonna speak because we would know how he sounds like. Yeah, if he speaks, we would know immediately. Nice to meet you. Yeah, he can't talk. Nothing, he can't say anything. Back to work again. That was really strange, though. As always, as if I knew he kind of seemed familiar. I've never met the man before. I didn't even know he existed, and yet he seemed familiar. Somehow, he didn't feel like our first encounter. Don't bother trying to converse with him. He says nothing to anybody from outside this office. Lord Stronger has strictly forbidden it. Oh, I see. Why are you so interested in my princess anyways? Oh, no, I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to. The way he stood there so casually, yeah, with that flawless posture. It couldn't be. He's like, wait a minute. That posture made me think of. Yeah, but it can't be. Hey. Ah, yes, there's something I've been meaning to ask you. Oh, what's that? Where's your apprentice? That Nipponese man. Is he faring well? Sorry? The one arrested twice in succession 6 months ago. With the stoop and the mustache and the jitters. Ah, Mr. Natsume, you mean? I'm not sure he'd be very pleased to find out you identified him from that list, Bruno. He's fine, thank you. In fact, I received a letter from him by international post only the other day. I see. Well, I think we can end our discussion there, don't you? There's little time left before tomorrow's trial. I'd advise you to spend it investigating the case. Yes, thank you for the advice and for the conversation. I can't believe he's asking after Soseki-san. After a Nipponese. I'm not sure whether to feel happy about that or worried. Well, let's go. I never imagined that Mr. Reaper would be friends with a mad scientist, did you? That's a turn up for the books. A mad scientist? Ah, you mean Professor Hairbrain. Yes, it might be worth quizzing the professor about his relationship with Lauren Fanzix, I think. Okay, well, we're done here. Okay, yeah, I want to go back to playing Monster Hunter now, so I'm going to call it here for now, for today. Maybe tomorrow. We might play again tomorrow, so, because just to take a break from the Monster Hunter grind. But yep. But before I go, as always, I want to thank you all for coming out to the stream. And if you like what you saw, consider follow me on YouTube, with YouTube, Twitter, X, the everything app, Twitch, which is right here, or Blue Sky, with all the links that should be below in the description. And hopefully, I will see you here in the next stream. Bye bye. See ya. Later.